DC Comics, well, not DC, DC Entertainment and HBO have reached an agreement, and we are finally going to get a Justice League Dark series from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Studios. Yeah. So we know J.J. is going to have a hands-on on this. That we've already seen that and reviewed that. We know that he's going to treat this as his baby. I'm very excited for this. For those of you who don't know who the Justice League Dark team is, this is the Justice League team that's more focused on the supernatural side of the DC universe, like ghosts and goblins and magic. So very popular characters we see here are John Constantine, Zatana, we see Swamp Thing, we see Deadman, and a couple of other characters definitely make appearances depending on what run we're looking at. And the current run right now, the team's held by Wonder Woman. She's leading the team. I don't think we're going to see that in this one here. But it's definitely very exciting to see this dark angle of the DC universe, especially with Swamp Thing. You know, that was on the DC streaming app. People loved it, but it just got cut short and canceled. So this could be a revival of that character and a continuation. So I'm very excited. So, Chris, what are you thinking of this? Are you excited for this show? Is this on your radar?
Yeah, totally on my radar. Totally excited for it. To me, this is the smartest thing DC has done entertainment-wise.
Yeah.
In a long time. In a very long time. Two reasons. One, you brought JJ in, you paid him whatever he wanted to bring Bad Robot in to kind of oversee kind of some of this DC stuff.
Yeah, they do two other productions too, not DC related.
Yeah, but, you know, as far as DC stuff, let him do what he wants and kind of play with the toys, right? I think the Justice League Dark, and particularly that side of DC, the magic side of DC, is something that is so much better than Marvel. Like, that's kind of their bread and butter right now of what Marvel hasn't done. And what is something that is way different, that they have way more characters, they have way more storylines, that is better than Marvel. Mm-hmm. As far as the Dark Universe, the Magic Universe, whether it's your dark stuff or some of your lighter stuff with Wonder Woman and Shazam, that part of the DC Universe is usually way better than what Marvel has to offer. As far as like, you know, the werewolf stuff and Dracula and stuff like that and Blade from Marvel, but DC usually has an upper hand on that. Two, putting on an HBO is key. The fact that they're having it for HBO Max obviously means they could curse. Yep. It's sex, violence, rock and roll, blood, gore, dark stuff. If you're going into that magic realm and that dark realm, that's what you need. You need HBO. You need premium cable channels in order to do it right. Arguably, you could do like an FX or something like that, but HBO is the perfect spot to do a Justice League Dark team TV show. Mm-hmm. It all just makes sense. I think they're going to double down too, because it seems like they are. The fact
what do you mean by that?
Meaning like they're going to go into those dark characters, right? You're not going to see your Wonder Womans. No. You're probably not going to see your Shazams. No. I think the lightest character I would love to see would be like a Dr. Fate. But I think 100% your team centers around Swamp Thing, Zatana, and Constantine.
As the main three. As the main three. Personally, I would love to see Deadman in there. Yes. I would love to see Dr. Fate to kind of give that different side of the mystic arts. What about Etrigan the Demon, who rhymes?
Here's the problem.
I love him. He's so great.
I love Etrigan. I love Jason Blood. Jason Blood as a character is really interesting. Mm-hmm. But Etrigan is tough. And the problem is when it's mainstream, like in the comics, Etrigan's tough, right? Because everything he says rhymes. It's part of the curse. Etrigan the Demon's really cool, right? He like basically uses the flamethrower attack on everybody.
Yeah.
And he's super strong and he jumps around like a wild animal.
It's great.
It's basically the Hulk with a flamethrower in his mouth. But when he talks, it's awful.
I love it. I'm on the opposite side.
It's going to be tough with a mainstream audience who's like, hey, let me check this out, to not get annoyed with Etrigan.
I
promise you that. Like, mainstream people are going to be like, what in the hell is going on?
I don't think it's that. I think it's a risk of Etrigan the Demon. With the rhyming, he might be too campy. And that might not be people like receiving it, but like, oh, what is this? I think people get over a guy who's rhyming, breathing fire, right? I think it's more like, oh, are the rhymes too silly? Is he too silly of a character?
Yeah.
That's something that like you always have to worry about with him. I feel like he might be a character they could introduce season 2 or 3, like later down the road, and add him to the roster.
I agree.
Which brings me now to the next topic. You know, we got to think like what storylines they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if they keep with the continuity that we have John Constantine in the CW, we don't know if they're going to keep him for this or not.
They should, because Matt Ryan's awesome.
And like keep building that lore with Matt Ryan. Like he's met Lucifer, he's done all this crazy stuff already. It's more readily believable. So if we keep Matt Ryan, Swamp Thing we already have, right? So maybe it's Matt Ryan goes to the swamp, meets Swamp Thing. I think it's going to focus more around Constantine and Zatana, like a lot of the stories do, and I'm fine with that. I think that's something we need, especially to kick off. Like he meets Zatana, they need to team up together to kind of help Swamp Thing or like do something with that, because we don't know what's happening in that swamp because the season fell off, right?
Yeah.
So this could kind of be a spiritual successor to that show, because like it goes even crazier and they need to see what's going on. The magical forces are there or not, right? They get introduced to him.
Bring in Bobo the monkey.
Oh, love Bobo the monkey. Bobo the monkey, guys. Bobo the monkey is a monkey. He has a magic sword. He's a king of a land right now. He talks.
He drinks.
Detective ship. He drinks. Fantastic character.
I love how you were like all in this story, and I said Bobo the monkey, and you were just like, everything's out the window. We're doing Bobo.
No, going back to it, like because like Swamp Thing is such a natural creature. Like he's one with the earth. Like he's one of the strongest magical beings on the planet. Yep. So it makes sense for these two magical beings to say what's going on, go in there, have the spiritual succession of Swamp Thing, kind of like wrap up that storyline and continue on into the universe. I would be down for that. I think that's a smart play. Keeps continuity, everything together. And like you said, Matt Ryan's fantastic. I would not recast him. You had it for a TV show. You that wasn't related to the CW stuff. Then you brought him to the CW stuff. You had to do the animated voices. Like, he is that character.
He is Constantine, yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to do it. You'd be silly not to.
I agree. And it wouldn't be taking anything away. Like, you're just upping Matt Ryan's ante by letting him curse and just do crazy shit. Like, and just blood all on his arms and stuff. Like, it would be amazing.
On that CW audience who knows who he is.
Yeah.
And that CW audience age range span from us to young teens.
Yeah.
And young teens like, oh, him? But in a Just Like Dark show where there's cursing and killing, all right, all aboard, choo-choo! And they get on their ride, and they're DC fans for life. Like, that is the smart play.
I have a couple stories in mind. One I know they're not going to do, which kind of sucks. I would honestly love to see Raven on this team.
No, I can't.
But because of Titans, you're not going to see that. I would love to see Raven and do like a real Trigon story. Where they have to go into the underworld.
They could always do a crossover, right?
Maybe. I think there's a couple things you could do with big characters in DC. One of them being Grail. It's a little close to Wonder Woman, but it could be totally different. Grail is half Amazonian, half Apocalyptian. She's Darkseid's daughter. And she is like the evil, magical Wonder Woman demon.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a level threat you're looking at for a team.
I think that's Wonder Woman, the third movie. I think that's the villain. That also introduces Darkseid down the road. But then, like, if that's the villain, she could consult Justice League Dark as a cameo to link the universes together. I think that's a better play. Grail is awesome, but I don't know if they're going to do that. They might do that for the bigger planning for Darkseid and building Justice League.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to do that either. The other couple ones I have are, like you said, that Swamp Thing ending was really quick. At the very end of Swamp Thing, we see Dr. Jason Woodrue, finally turn into the Floronic Man.
He's a villain of them, yeah.
That would be a good villain. You could tie into Swamp Thing. Also, like, just go straight into the devil, right? Like you want to go dark? Have Constantine have to go back and forth through dimensions and go into hell, and they have to go into hell, and Zatana's talking backwards and, doing spells.
Not fighting Lucifer, like a different devil.
No, like the actual devil.
Oh, okay, I know what you're
like
saying.
the actual devil, like giant red with horns, would be pretty sick. And depending if you have Dr. Fate on this team, having the helmet Nabu like on someone who's awful creates a whole like a shitload of stuff you could do. So JL Dark has a lot of options. I think it's going to depend on like if HBO wants to ground it a little more in reality, or go into the ground it in more of the fantastical world and dimensions and stuff. Depending on where they like lie on that kind of treadmill of ways they're going, that'll kind of tell what's going on. But yeah, I think 100% you go Constantine's your kind of face in Zatana, and Swamp Thing has to be in it. And then you kind of mix and match, right? Maybe my other thing with Etrigan, I did agree, like maybe bring him in later on. I think you're right. If he sounds campy, it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to make him like the Beast of Justice League Dark, meaning like the Beast as far as Beast in X-Men. Make him like Jason Blood is the extremely intelligent professor. And when he turns into Etrigan, Etrigan speaks in rhyme, but it's like overly intelligent. Like it's like high IQ. It's extremely professional, and it's basically like Beast. I think that'd be pretty cool if they did that. So the rhyming kind of sounds more intelligent than stupid.
All right, guys, that is our thoughts on Justice League Dark coming to HBO Max. Let us know down in the comments below if this is on your radar, what characters you are hoping to see
Bobo
in the season. Yes, Bobo is a big fan favorite. And then let us know if you have any theories of what they could be doing. We're definitely excited to see what your thoughts are.